Welcome to Dying to Know, where we open up about everything that comes with losing a loved one.
Because the only thing worse than death is not being able to talk about it.
We're your bereavement babes, Leah and Rachel, and today we're diving in food. Food, which is the most popular item you'll receive in your entire bereavement period. Hey, Rach.
Hey, Leah.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well.
Hungry?
Yeah, starving.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, as you mentioned, food is one of the most popular things that you receive during this bereavement period.
Yeah.
And the little thing that we bonded on is the wildness of the food that we have received. And I remember asking you, Leah, what's the weirdest thing that you've gotten? And you made me sound crazy because you're like, I am getting pretty ordinary stuff, where I was like, really? Because I just tried some hot dog soup.
So, Rachel, what is hot dog soup, please?
Hot dog soup, I would say, is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. I feel that, thank you for who sent it. It was appreciated.
Yes.
Some family members liked it, but to me, it looked like broth, little mini sausages, and some noodles.
So, the full tiny, wiener Vienna sausages.
Yeah, that you might get in, yellow rice and, salchicha, just floating in the bowl.
Okay, with a broth and noodles.
Yeah.
Vegetables?
I wasn't the one who tried it, so I'm getting my scope of, this recipe, but, it was hot dog soup, and it was different, and I feel like we got lucky where my mom works at a school, so the teachers were making a schedule for us and getting different things, so we got a fun array of different recipes, home recipes from all these wonderful teachers, and hot dog soup was one of them.
Hot dog soup, I'll never forget that. But no, I think food during the bereavement period is very it's common, it seems and so cultural, across so many cultures that so many people do it.
I agree. I think it's the first step. You hear someone pass you, what can I send? What am I ordering? What's the address I need to send to? I feel like it's the first go-to question of what you're going to get and receive during that time.
So it had me thinking I wonder what else is out there about food, what makes food this important, thing. So I came across this article on Psychology Today that says, for many widows and widowers, there are a number of factors that can contribute to losing the desire to eat. After years of cooking for someone and eating with them, mealtime can become a very lonely experience. Things that were once familiar, like shopping, cooking, and eating, now become overwhelming chores. We just don't have the energy and motivation to do things anymore. Not that me and you are widowers at all, but this definitely did relate to what we were talking about. So they also went into and said, some say that they do not know how to cook or shop for one person and then feel cooking is too much of a burden on them anyway. Why should I bother? Grocery shopping and passing up items we used to buy for our loved ones makes the trip to the store painful. Friends and family may ask, how are you doing? But rarely do they ask whether or not we are eating. In fact, mealtime and bedtime can be the hardest part of the day. When you might be used to cooking a full meal, putting something in the microwave to cook is just not the same thing. Sometimes it is just easier to skip a meal, which I really found interesting. I know it was more geared towards people who have lost a spouse outside of a parent. But I find it so cool that, not cool, but just intriguing that something so simple like a meal and not being able to shop anymore because it doesn't feel the same or not knowing the quantity can really send someone into a spiral.
It actually happened with us where my aunt sent us breakfast sandwiches, and we were a family of 6. Everything came in 6. We all had 6, and we were also eaters. And I remember we had breakfast sandwiches, and I went to the table, and there was one left, and I was like, how is there leftovers? This is the best breakfast sandwich ever.
Yeah.
But one was gone. And I feel that, but I'm we're not, we joked around. We always call you, our family the Rap 6. And I'm just, it was the first moment where I'm we're not a unit of 6 anymore. Our unit is, broken. We're not ordering 6. I have to order. I feel it was something so simple of, seeing that sandwich just left on the table where it really, sat me down in a moment where I'm wow, we're a whole new unit right now. And it really tripped me up about not knowing. So I feel the quantities thing really I related to from the article, where you don't, it's just little things that you're not, it just saying a different number is really gonna like mess with your head.
Yeah, it's really the small things, like those little reminders, and to know that like food's something you have to do every day.
Yeah.
And you just get stuck in that rut where you're like, this is where I'm missing the person the most.
Yeah, or favorite meals, like smells is a big thing. Like, or it's just like those little things where it's just altering your reality a little bit as you're going through it.
Yeah. And like just tips for those who are like currently grieving and like feeling that too is like, don't be afraid. Like, be easy on yourself. That's really 100%. A big thing. This is going to be the hardest moment, one of the hardest moments in your lives. So, like, just remember to be easy on yourself. And for those who are comforting those who are bereaving, like, I would just suggest, like, maybe going to the market on behalf of that person. Like, obviously, if you know them personally, you know what they like to cook or make or have in the house, or just buy some groceries for them. Or get groceries and come over and offer to make a meal with them together just to acclimate that like meal time again, because you definitely need food for nourishing.
No, and that's what was so nice about having the teacher community is like they really gave my mom the break and was like, okay, here's our schedule. Here's where it's going to be here. It was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was nice to also see a friendly face come through.
Yeah.
And I feel like also just like making sure is what, when your dad passed 6 months later, is what made me step out to give you the phone call and just to kind of see like what your food life was looking like. Because again, we have this group chat of friends that just care about each other. And again, our first instinct is to go to food or cookies or something. And I feel like hearing where your state was in that moment of like the craziness and overwhelming really made me want to dig a little deeper and see like where you were. And you kind of said, you're like, I'm chilling.
Yes. I remember that phone call. I was like, Rachel, I'm really chilling. I was like, I want to drink teas. I'm in tubs.
Yeah.
I'm smoking a lot more. Like, I'm just really zenned out. And I didn't know how to say that to other people, like what my need was or wasn't. But I think you really picked up on like context clues. Because during that time, the food that we were receiving, our number one item was rotisserie chicken.
Which is like, okay.
Which is so quick and you get them, right? They don't have to cook the chicken. Most people like them. Chicken's a universal meat, so most people buy it. But we had started receiving so much chicken at that time. We started boiling them and giving them to Harry, who's the dog, so he could eat them because we didn't want people's money to go to waste.
You don't want it to go to waste. And that's why having the phone call and kind of seeing where you were at and maybe just taking a step back, like I'm like, okay, her family's taken care of right now.
Yeah.
Maybe let's send her a candle or some self-care products that she'll use a little bit more. It won't go to waste and she can appreciate and kind of like relax in that moment and just kind of cater to you. I think one thing that felt really special is we had a brand new niece at the time and my roommate had sent formula to us and it was just like, it's a little thing where we now don't have to go to the grocery store to take care of, but it was like a little context cluey where you could give us something that we needed a little bit more in the moment, which just felt super special and touching and like a surprise. You're just like unexpectedly like one less like thing you need to check off.
Yeah, like something that's still important.
With that phone call, your dad just passed. If I would have just plain out asked you, like, what do you need right now? Do you think you would have been able to like answer honestly or truly given me or would you have said a rotisserie chicken?
I definitely wouldn't have said anything food related, but I don't think in that moment that I would have known exactly what I needed. I didn't know what I needed. I didn't really even know what I was feeling. I was just trying to numb the feeling of like losing someone that was so important. So I think in those moments when people do ask, a lot of times like the person who is grieving has no idea what to say. I mean, like genuinely, you can think of things now that I wish someone would take a wish list for me now.
Yeah.
But in that moment, people are looking to fill a hole or like fill a void in you. But the one thing that you're missing and really want back, you're not going to get. No matter if you're like, I'm craving teas at this time or whatever, it wouldn't really matter. I just think the important thing during that time, if someone is grieving, if you know that friend personally, because that's what I really liked that y'all did for me was you gave me a gift. Like it was acknowledgement that my dad had passed, but like you didn't have to send the whole family something. You sent the person that you knew. And then you also were listening like, Leah's chilling right now. She's in a bath. Like she just wants like easy stuff like candles. And like you sent me the candle. Like that was stuff that I would genuinely want in life. So I think that would be a good, I don't know, thing for people to do is just like really know who your friend is and like what to get them. But like, what about you in your time? Did you feel like you know what you wanted or like in hindsight, would you now have the speech to like ask for what you need?
I think the one thing that we did, because I think, and you mentioned in the quote too, where you're either like not eating or overeating. Mm-hmm. I think we were eaters, we were overeaters. And at one point, because like I said, some of the teachers were a little like responsive and trying to help the best way. We started asking for healthy stuff because we were guys, like we just killed like all these pizzas, all this pasta. So I feel like that was one thing, because we definitely like fell into those food coma moments where we're like, okay, now we're sad and now we're stuffed, and it just did feel overwhelming a little bit that we're like, can we just kind of get a salad? Which you feel weird like when you get these gift cards and that's what you want. I mean, that's just us. But I feel like there are moments like that because, and this is a whole nother topic, but I feel like weight gain became a big thing. Yeah. And that hit a lot more in the later months, but we just became so in tune with overeating and food being that like support for us, that weight gain in the later months was just a whole nother new battle to tackle.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And like also too, it's like, it depends on the food that people bring. So we had those moments too where we're like, we don't want any more rotisserie chicken. We don't want the fried chicken. Yeah. We just want something outside the house. Like I just want to go to Burger King real quick and like just, you know, have something that I'm actually craving or want. Or like when I ask for something, I would be like, oh, I want some like green tea bags, and someone would ship like the entire 150 Costco size. I'm like, I just needed a pack of Lipton. That was all.
I know. But in the end, everything is so appreciated. Yes. And you really realize like how many, I think the abundance just goes to show like how many people care about you and are trying to fill that gap and understand that this gap is now missing from your life and are doing the best like they can to fill it.
Absolutely. They're just looking out. This episode is dedicated to the dog who ate all the bowl rotisserie chickens. Harrison, LaFons, Belafonte, Dubin, Kinlaw. You are missed every day. Again, we're your bereavement babes, Leah and Rach. We'll see you on the other side.